Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wellness Connections. I'm Emily, and we are chatting with Tasha today about all things red light therapy. We'll probably dive into a little bit of reflexology and essential oils. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, Emily. Thank you for having me. I am well. Yeah, it's a great Thursday, and let's talk a little bit about some light therapy, which is very unknown to a lot of people, but
It is.
it's kind of getting you're starting to see commercials and stuff that people are using certain like masks and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So I'd love to start off the podcast with telling me a little bit about yourself and your own wellness journey. What kind of got you started and some of those pieces that brought you to now.
okay. So, yes, my name is Tasha Zorn. I have a business here in Western Pennsylvania called Empowered You Holistic Wellness Services. I started off in 2015 on the path of essential oils. Mom with two young kids, entering school, you know,
Yeah.
kind of like a germaphobe at the time, worried that they were like, get everything everyone else had. That's what they told me at the school, anyways. And I went to a class about essential oils. The gal that was teaching it, I trusted. I went to high school with her, and I bought some, and I forgot about them. And one day, I was having an issue, and my friend's like, try this. And they worked. And I was like, hmm, okay. So after several times of that, I kind of got hooked. And I worked at a hair salon then, part time, just washing hair and appointments and stuff. And everyone was talking to me about their health issues. And I've always loved exercise and food and health stuff, but I like a roller coaster, like
Yeah.
do great with some things and terrible with other things, and like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to. The one of the ladies called me at the salon and was like, "What oil were you telling me about? I need to get that." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I really need to share this."
Hmm.
So it started with oils, and then I got about a year later, I broke out in this rash, like legs, all over my legs, went on my arms, went over my face. And my friend was like, I think you have a candida rash. I'm like, a what? What the heck's a candida rash? I never heard of that word before. And she explained to me it was like an overgrowth of yeast, too much bad bacteria. And I had been on antibiotics for years, because I have a leaky heart valve and
Okay.
like mitral valve prolapse. So they made me
Hmm.
pre med before I did dentist and anything. And so lots of antibiotics, and never knew about probiotics. So long story short, I had to really research and research
Hmm.
and research, because at that point I was wanting to fix myself because I was
Right.
afraid. I became afraid then, to listen to others about that.
Hmm.
So then I dove into that journey of gut health, became a health coach, got certified as a holistic health coach. And in that journey, you learn a lot about people's habit change. And, you're not a nutritionist or a dietitian, it's habit change. Um, and just talking to so many people, learning about myself, kind of like you, constantly loving to learn about this stuff. It becomes like an obsession,
Yes.
really does. My poor family, right? Because
Oh, of
they hear so
course.
much of it. But I learned about something that I also had with gut issues, that infrared saunas, like red light, infrared
Hmm.
light, was really good to help with. Well, in our area at the time, there were none. Um, I think the closest was Pittsburgh at the time. This was a couple years ago, maybe
Yeah.
2000, 2020, 2019. I was looking into it. So I was like, well, I could get one, but the commercial one's really expensive.
Hmm.
And if I was going to buy one, I wanted to be able to use it in my business as offer as a service.
Right.
So that was like, no, maybe not. And I talked to my friend in Utah, and her sister-in-law had this harmonic light therapy system, and it's portable.
Hmm.
So like, here's one of them, this is the helmet.
Right.
I have a bunch of them, and you put it in this bag and you take it with you. So it's, you know, you could take it home, you could take it to the office. And so I learned about it and dove right in. And I started sharing, I think in 2020, 2020 maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be pretty
I
accurate.
think was probably about 20 for, well, maybe not with,
Was it at
yeah.
was it before that? I'm trying to think. I started my directory in 2019.
I
I
think
can't
I
remember if
bought
you
it.
just had the coaching at that point or not.
Yeah, I did. I just had the coaching, and I think in 2020 I bought my system, but it was a
Okay.
while till I started using it because we weren't allowed to be together then, So I
Okay.
was
Oh,
using it at
right.
home
Yeah.
and for my family.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, so that was harmonic light therapy, and then this past March I got certified as a reflexologist. So I love using all of it
Right. Yeah.
together. It's all,
Yeah.
all the tools, all the
Yeah.
things.
Because everything influences everything. So like the light
Mhm.
is influencing the body in so many different ways. And reflexology is, you're touching the points on the feet or the
Mhm.
hands that influence the entire body.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely.
super. I love that you have both of those. Um, and can include the oils and all of that too. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Um, let's see, where do we want to move I wanted to touch base on the obsession around health and like how whenever you start going down some of these rabbit holes and then learning about things and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do all these things.
Mhm.
And it can be really overwhelming. And then you kind of then decide like, okay, well, I can't do it all. So especially for me, like I had been a very much all or nothing person. And recently I've really been working on that. So then you're like, well, I'm not doing anything, but you have all this knowledge in your head and you're just like stuck. So I think it's just fascinating because it's easy to fall into some of those traps, but like really working on one thing at a time.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
and it's very fascinating. So the gut health brought you then to like the harmonic light therapy essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's just so many different facets of the gut. And when I started like into oils and coaching and stuff, I'm
Yeah.
like a one size fits all. Everyone has to do this, And then I'm like, oh man, that's so wrong. Like,
Uh-huh.
you know, even just like a probiotic. I take a probiotic that because I have histamine issues, so I have to make sure all the bacteria in it are not high histamines.
Hmm.
And some of them are. So like it's so broad spectrum
Right.
that I love how you have said that, and like a come to Jesus moment too for me is
Hmm.
I have had checklists of you wake up, and I know you've done this. You
Right. Oh
wake
yeah.
up, you drink some water, spend some time with Jesus, like do this light
Hmm.
therapy, exercise, gratitude journaling, all these things.
Uh-huh.
Dry brushing, right? Dry brushing before
Yep.
you get in the shower.
Uh-huh.
And like you have this list in front of you, and I'm like, well, I got one of those done today. I got,
Hmm.
but when you just habit stack and you get one of them, whatever
Hmm.
your most important is, and start with that.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Yeah.
there I just went down a rabbit hole.
No,
But
totally good.
yeah, yeah.
No, because you're right. It's that like I have been and not getting so stuck on it has to be done every day. Like if I remember to dry brush, I remember to dry
Mhm.
brush
Right.
because it's more important, in my opinion, to start being intuitive
Hmm.
and listening to our bodies and its needs than having that checklist and being stressed because that stress
Yes.
then just plays havoc on our gut, which then
Right.
throws everything else off. And um, so yeah, the habit stacking is great and like just taking kind of one thing at a time. So tell me more about the red light therapy, a little bit about how it works, the effect of light on the body, whatever kinds of things you'd like to share around that.
Okay. So in the system I have, it's a company called Lumaceuticals, and it's really awesome. It uses light and pulses it at harmonic frequencies. And I know you know a
Okay.
lot about frequencies. You probably know
Right.
way more than I do about frequencies. Um, but it helps deliver it through the body better by pulsing it. And it's really cool because the whole time, like here's one of my pads. Here's the blue one. This will be a bright light.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the whoop, there. It's blue.
Yes.
This is flashing right now. This is
Okay.
pulsing, but
Yeah.
it's pulsing so fast that our eyes visibly cannot see it flashing.
Okay.
So if the frequency is like above 60, then we can't see it. But if it's
Okay.
60 or below, and some of my settings on my machine are, then we can actually see them. So I have to be
Okay.
careful, people that get, epilepsy or whatever.
Right.
Um, but it's just that's how it delivers the light better. Um, so my machine has 99 settings on it, and I can also program settings if there is a researched frequency
Mhm.
that matches a specific health concern.
Yeah.
I can pre-program it just for that. Now, I've
Very
never
cool.
done that because I've already all the other settings that I've used they're pretty good.
Right.
But so we have on mine, I have red and infrared. Um, I have blue. So red and infrared goes the deepest down into your bones and your muscles. Um, Actually, that's infrared. Red is comes up a little bit more. That's in your muscles and your tissues. And then green's kind of in the middle. Um, and then blue is more at the top. Like it's really good for any skin support. Uh, it's very calming. So my son was just in a side by side accident a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
and he hit the side by side landed on his leg, and thank God it was that broke. But I started with only the blue, which actually the blue has infrared light. So
Okay.
infrared light's invisible to the eye.
Right.
So this has blue, but there's infrared in here.
Mhm.
So it's very calming for the inflammation. Even
Okay.
though like the red gets deep down in, I wanted to just give him a couple days of like kind of like ice. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just slowing the inflammation. So I also have green. So I have blue, green, red, infrared, and then some of mine have like amber in, and I feel like there's another color. Hold on. Oh, violet too.
Okay.
And there's differences in blue light. There's good blue light and there's bad blue light. It
Mhm.
just depends on, I believe the nanometers
Right.
of it. I
Yeah.
think right. That's right.
That would make sense because I know like EMFs are like all electromagnetic frequency is all around us. We
Hmm.
emit an electromagnetic frequency, but the non-native is, well, I guess that's technically different than NN. But anyway, but yeah, I
Yeah,
would agree that it has to do with frequency.
yeah. So when I have like a client that comes to me, the the biggest thing is to get them out of fight or flight, right? We
Hmm.
have two parts of our autonomic nervous system. One is sympathetic, and that's when you're in fight or flight. And the goal of the lights is to get you, and reflexology, is to
Hmm.
get you out of fight or flight into that parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest, digest, and heal.
Hmm.
So these aren't healing you, but they're helping your body get into a state where it can start to heal on its own and create
Right.
um, balance in your body. And so some of like the main things that the light therapy does. So our red and infrared pads are FDA cleared. So I actually do take FSA and HSA. I don't take insurance, but if you come
Hmm.
to see me and you have an FSA or HSA, I can take that because they're FDA cleared for arthritis, pain and inflammation. Um, Actually, our blue one is for I think is it cleared for maybe not. Forget the
Yeah.
blue one. Um, um, Repetitive use injuries, kind
Hmm.
of like carpal tunnel
Yeah.
or something like that.
Right.
It's actually FDA cleared for wrinkles, which is completely
That's
opposite.
fun.
What else? Neuropathy.
Mm,
There's a couple more. Hold on, can't. I'm having a brain fart.
that's okay.
Tendonitis, yeah, injury and wounds. So that's why I used it on my son as well.
Hmm.
Muscle spasms and strains. Yeah, neuropathy and repetitive use injury. So that that is like what a lot of people come to me for is pain,
Right.
arthritis, stuff like that. And then um, it, it helps with your circulation. It helps your lymphatic system. It produces nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator. I did not know. I never heard of nitric oxide before
Uh-huh.
until I started light therapy. And I think I wrote this down. So I want to read this to you because I got to
Yeah, go
remember
ahead.
all. Like some of the roles of nitric oxide in your body. So this particular system helps your body produce nitric oxide.
Okay.
So the roles of nitric oxide decreases pain, keeps your blood vessels open, elastic, and functioning properly. It lowers your blood pressure, increases oxygen levels throughout the body, ensures blood flow, and I think there's more, but that's all I have typed. I don't know.
That's
I
okay.
read a couple of
That's
notes,
all right.
but there was some more. And so the light therapy helps oxygenate your cells and regenerate your cells, which is kind of cool, you know.
Yeah. Um,
Um, and then the blue light is so I have a specific pad for acne. That's that's what I was meant talking
that
about.
one's okay.
It's like blue. There's kind of like it's a different color blue
Okay.
that's safe.
Then okay.
Um, for the eye. So I have specific, we can't really see it. It's just white.
Okay.
There you can kind of see
Yeah.
it. It's like purplish.
Oh
And then
yeah. Yeah, I
it
see
has
that. Yeah.
red around the eyes too. And that helps with wrinkles. But
Okay.
this is great for all things skin related.
Okay.
The main one is acne, but I've also used it for other people to help calm their skin. And then I have a
Mhm.
red mask like that is for wrinkles and
Okay.
scarring. It's like those creepy looking
Yeah.
Jesus masks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen a few people with them and I'm like, oh, those look fun. They look super
Mhm.
great. Like you put people share a picture and I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. I should share more of
I
that
love that.
on mine. I do take pictures of my kids a lot with this stuff on, but they're like,
Yeah.
"Don't post that, mom." So,
I know. I don't post pictures of my kids. So I was like, my kids are using it. Now like I've
yeah.
started sharing a little bit about them using it and um we'll do like non-face pictures, but I'm like, I wish I could like because
Yeah.
it's helpful, but it's awesome that it's for like any age. And I'm with you, like I hadn't heard about nitric oxide until you started doing this and you had shared some stuff with me years ago. And
Mhm.
now I'm starting to see it more and more in various ways. One of the products for the company that I have, I think is like some type of nitric oxide thing. And it's fascinating to like learn
Yeah.
about those functions of the body and like how
Mhm.
that works. And it's amazing. So I love that I love that it's becoming more mainstream. Like people are
Mhm.
starting to understand, oh, this has an effect. And um it's just really cool to hear. Um
Yeah.
I liked that you had mentioned that with your son, you started with the blue
Mhm.
versus going like straight to the red. Because I think that too is something that people, when they're like on this healing journey and they have all these issues, they're like, okay, I just gotta cut all of this and add all of this and do all of this. And the body's like, wait, what the heck's going on? Like we've never,
Yeah.
so like not only are you messing with your brain, with your habits, with that like making a huge shift, which throws the nervous system out,
Yeah.
like it, it's too much. Like your body's like, wait, what am I doing? And even so, even
Yes.
those things that are supposed to be good for us don't always then have a good effect because we did way too much too quickly, which is why I love that you have grown so much in your knowledge that you're like, wait, let's start with blue and let your body kind of heal a little bit there and then keep going to
Mhm.
get into that deeper because I do. Yeah, anyway, I could go on a whole rabbit hole there, but I
Yeah.
love that you
Yeah. I
mentioned that
agree.
because I think that that is so important. um I'm trying to think if there's anything else from that I pulled. Is there anything else that you want to talk about regarding like red light therapy? I'd love to learn more about like how you got into the reflexology from the red light therapy and all of that too, or if that was maybe more of the oils, um, and just a little bit about reflexology.
Let me see, like look over some of my notes. So I talked about pulse because I forget
Hmm.
stuff easily.
So do
40s. Wait till you're in your 40s.
I. Got to give some
um,
frequencies for the brain.
oh my gosh.
Set your brain up.
There is a setting for mental clarity. I really
Uh-huh.
need to use it.
Yes.
Um, I wrote down a quote, and I know you've heard the Paul Nogier. I don't know how you
Oh,
say his name. He was like big into frequencies. But he said sickness results when cells, molecules,
mm,
or particles of matter are out of their normal resonance or vibratory pattern. So, by repeatedly exposing damaged tissue to the normal resonance frequencies associated with that tissue, healing often occurs, sometimes quite rapidly. So,
mhm.
he was like a French neurologist. But I love that people are starting to you know, learn more about the light therapy. You're starting to see
Yeah.
it, celebrities are doing the masks
Mhm.
because they want to stay young, right?
Right.
But the frequencies freaks people out, right? They're like,
Right.
you know this, like, what the heck is a frequency? But
Yep.
everything has a frequency. Everything,
Mhm.
it's energy, right?
Right.
So, and it's more complicated for me. My brain, I'm an artist, so my brain goes that way, and the
Yeah.
science gets a little, whoo, in my
Yeah.
head. But I just love how, um, honestly, and you've done my light therapy.
Mhm.
You just lay there,
Yep.
and I put a pad on the eyes. Is probably to me the most important. There are a few people who do not like it, so I'll put it on their forehead
Mhm.
or behind their neck, because that goes into your pineal,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it's like absorbed into your brain and kind of sends the light where it needs to be,
Right.
because certain things like this help your body, what's the word, adaptogenic, they help your
Oh, yeah,
body,
right. Just like
creates
adapt.
balance,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
adapts. And so I always put one on the liver. Blue light
Mhm.
is fantastic for the liver. It loves it. It helps keep things moving.
Yeah.
And I put one on the kidneys because that's important too in your adrenal glands.
Mhm.
And if you come in and you tell me, you know, I haven't gone to the bathroom in a week,
Yeah.
I'm going to put a specific color light on
Right.
you to help stimulate that. And then, so eyes, stomach, the light goes through your body every um, 20 minutes. So through your
Okay.
whole body, like
Okay.
your belly button, so it hits every blood cell in
Yeah.
20 minutes. It's
Yeah.
kind of like an essential oil takes so many minutes, but it gets every cell.
Right.
Um, and then I always put meditation music on, and then I'll
Mhm.
put pads. Like if you tell me your neck's sore, I'll put a green or red pad there or whatever. And you just chill. That's all
Yeah.
you do. You lay there, feel like you're at the beach with your eyes closed. You want to
Yep.
receive the light, not stare into it.
Yeah.
And I have this cool helmet. This is amazing for calming the brain, the mind.
Okay.
Um, I have people with stress and anxiety, and then it's just certain conditions, headaches or
Yeah.
whatever, pain.
Yeah.
I'll use that for certain people, and then you just relax.
Yeah.
And I usually do 20 to 40 minutes, depends on where you're at in your therapy journey. Kids,
Right.
kids depends on the age, um, and I just feel blessed that I can use this as a tool.
Mhm.
And so people pay me to come in office and do sessions. I rent a space in a salon. And then you can also rent one for 2
Okay.
weeks. I believe it's around $250, depends on which one system that
Oh,
you rent.
okay.
Because there's small systems and then there's the big kit and caboodle, which
Right.
is
Get
what I got.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because I knew I was going to be doing it as a service.
Right.
Um, and then, so if you have your own system for 2 weeks, use it every day. Every
Mhm.
day. You can use it twice a day. I was using it 3 times a day on my son, which is
Yeah.
a lot. I wouldn't start out with that.
Right.
You want a slow introduction of light, but so you could just see the difference it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
do in your body and your mind. Such
Mhm.
peace of mind in your sleep, your circadian rhythm. And then you can also buy your own. And people look at me like, you spent what? You know? And now like I said, I bought a bigger system,
Yeah.
but there are way less expensive ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everyone I know has a side by side,
Right. You're like, "Oh,
it costs
you'll spend money on
$15,000.
that, but
You
but
could
you won't
buy
spend anything
five
on
of
your."
these, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
For your health. And
Yeah.
honestly, it does so much good for your overall well being. Forget the wrinkles, forget the acne. We're talking
Right.
about your liver, your
Mhm.
kidneys, your brain,
Mhm.
your sleep, your stress, just
Yeah.
getting you into that place where you can rest, digest, and heal.
Right.
So those are the three ways you can experience sessions. There's a fourth, which is a
Mm.
remote session,
Yes. Yeah.
and I've only done them a few times. I would like to get into that a little more. I know you understand remote sessions.
Mhm.
I need to understand them a little better before I like promote them, but it is cool. And I have done it and I've had people feel
Oh,
the
yeah.
remote sessions before. I should do that to you one time.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, like, I'll do a remote
Yeah, be
session
my little guinea
because
pig.
yeah,
Hmm.
um, because there is, I mean, everything that I do with the frequencies is remote,
Hmm.
and I, I understand it, but it comes with a level of trust and
Hmm.
just understanding that
Oh,
everything is energy and everything is entangled. Like there's so
yeah.
many people that they want the like, well, how does this work? And like it just does. Like
And
start
yeah,
researching quantum entanglement and have fun. Cause like
yeah,
it
it's
makes sense in
right.
my head, but I'm still getting to the point where I can like explain it. Because I mean, even quantum physicists, like they don't understand it. Like there's like they just
Right.
know that it works and they keep
Hmm.
studying it and
Like
it's
muscle
fascinating.
testing, like
Right.
muscle testing. It's kind of weird, but it
Right.
works.
But it works and it's accurate
Yeah.
and like all those things. Um, but yeah, I love that so much is available anymore that's like remote because sometimes, you know, you might not have the finances to get a large system or
Right.
you might not be in a location, but you're wanting to try this stuff and nobody around you has one. And that's such a huge benefit. Yeah, I will definitely never forget my first session with you when you got it because I was like,
Oh yeah, that's
I
right. I
fell
had to
asleep and it was one of
shake.
like the weirdest situations. Like I like the whole time was like, just relax, Emily, just relax. Cause I have a very difficult time relaxing. And there was a meditation that was kind of walking you through. I was like, just focus and relax. And I swear I was there for, you know, 15, 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden you were like touching me because you couldn't get me awake with your voice. And I was like I had like when I like came to, I was like, where in the heck am I? Where was I? Like it was the strangest sensation, definitely the
Yeah,
deepest relaxation I'm pretty sure I have ever felt before. Um,
yeah,
so yeah,
that
and
was
that's
funny. I remember that. I'm like, usually don't touch people to wake them
right,
up, but you, I'm fine with.
right.
I could not get you awake.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely relaxing, which is what we need to have more of that, so that our, like you said, we shut down that sympathetic and allow for the rest and digest.
Hmm.
Is so so important. Um, I love all of that. Um,
Turn these off.
do you want to talk at all about the reflexology? What kind of got you into it? Anything like that?
So when you're like in the land of essential oils and you
Yeah.
do it like for kind of living or like beyond just using them,
Mm-hmm.
you learn about all these reflex points in the foot
Mm-hmm.
and the hands. And there are some times where you cannot put oils topically. Like my son was ill and he had an infection. Trying to say this
Yeah, I know.
correct way. Um, and I needed to put an oil on his eye. But if
Mm,
I had put this oil on his eye, he would have been
right,
in worse pain than he would have with infection.
right.
So I found the reflex point on the bottom of his foot for his eye and I placed the oil there.
Yeah.
Most kids, and he was little, kids rub their eyes too,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so like and I was like, okay, this is really cool. So I started to learn some of the reflex points for the brain, especially to help
Mm,
calm the mind. So putting calming
mhm.
oils on the bottom of your big toe,
Yeah.
um, and just stuff like that. And I always thought it was really neat. And I wanted to go. I've always kind of wanted to do massage therapy,
Okay.
but at this point in my life, doing the school, um, I don't have the time to do it.
Mhm.
And I think my daughter's home. Hopefully, if she remembers the bed. Um, and I talked to my girlfriend who had gotten into reflexology. She was a doTERRA.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the same beliefs, things, and she was just telling me how well received it was and how
Mhm.
successful her business has been. And she lived a couple hours from here in a bigger city, but
Yeah.
and I was like, "Tell me more."
Yeah.
And I just thought it would fit into my life right now. And
Mhm.
honestly, I never thought I'd love touching people's feet
Yeah.
because I don't like feet really. Um, but there's this connection that I get, this,
Yeah.
you
The
know,
energy.
this
Mhm.
energy. And I do the first thing I do, well, after I kind of stretch their hips a little bit, by lifting their feet up.
Yeah.
I put my thumbs on the solar plexus and I get that connection and I pray for them.
Mhm.
And sometimes I put an oil there depending on what they're going through. And just this deep sense of connection I feel when working on people's feet. The hands I like, feet I like way better, which is
Huh.
so weird for me to
That is
say
so
that.
weird.
It is so weird. Like people's hands are so gentle and soft. Like their feet,
Mhm.
I can get in there and I can
Yeah.
but the schooling I did it's called integrative reflexology. So it's
Okay.
learning four different, not methods, but ideas around
Oh,
reflexology and
yeah.
combines them all together. And so you have some of it that's a little, it's different kinds of understanding. Some of it's emotional and the
Mhm.
physical. Um, and I still have a ton to learn, but it's just, I've loved being able to help people so far. And when they come back to me and they're referring people to me, and when I could feel the reflexes swollen, I'm like,
Mhm. Mhm.
wow, this is like really cool to me.
Right.
Not that I'm glad that they're out of balance, and
Right.
you know, but I just love that connection and being able to
Yeah.
help people. And I think people understand reflexology more than they do red light therapy.
Yeah.
So I can use them. Like I had a client this morning. She has plantar fasciitis.
Mm.
Excuse me. So I need to take a drink, please.
Go ahead.
Um, so a lot of the times I will do red light therapy while the person is getting
Mhm.
reflex if they want it.
Yeah.
But for her, because I needed to put the lights on her feet, so I would do that first. Do the harmonic light therapy session, and then I would work on her feet for plantar fasciitis. So it's just been they just mesh.
Yeah.
And you throw oils into that, it's like the
A
perfect
whole other
trio
mhm.
plus frequencies. Like, so it's like really
Right.
four, but they just complement each other. They enhance
Mhm.
the benefits of each other. Um, yeah, it's just, I am loving it. So
That's
I,
amazing.
yeah, I do that there in the office. I don't think there's a remote reflexology that you can do.
No remote
You gotta touch
reflexology,
it.
darn it.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
got,
feel you touching my
yeah,
feet.
right. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. And then learning how you can, um, that the light therapy enhances the oils and vice
Mhm.
versa. So
Yeah.
I always use essential oils, and I'm talking about like good
Good
quality
yeah.
essential
Mhm.
oils, not Walmart, not
Yeah.
the
Not
wherever.
Target, not
Yeah, right.
randomly off this random website online,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I use them on everyone. It's included in my price of the
Yeah,
reflexology session. And
that's
I've had
awesome.
no one that said that if they didn't want them, that's fine. I
Right,
have a questionnaire and they're
yeah.
fine with it. So
Do you have specific ones that you like, do you use a specific oil for every single reflexology patient, or do you tailor that to your
yeah.
client?
So I tailor them once they do the questionnaire and fill out.
Mhm.
It's like a 3-page form.
Yeah,
Um, Figure out what their goals are, and then I'll tailor it to that. And I use at least three to five, typically on people. And if I feel something when I'm working on the feet, I may go grab it another one
yeah,
and
yeah,
put it in just a specific, like between the toes is like at the top of your toe. I think this is your
yeah,
foot. It's your reflex for your ear. And I feel
okay.
a lot of times I feel
Hmm,
crunchies in there, trying to work them out.
yeah,
So
that's
I
really
will just tailor it to
yeah.
everyone's needs.
That's really interesting. I might have to talk to you privately sometime about that because when I run scans on people, the ears are always something that are scanned, and I will ask people, and some people they have ear issues, and other people's like, no, I don't have any issues with my ears, and I'm
Mhm,
like, okay, and I don't know enough about the ears to know like
mhm.
what could be going on or like any of
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So it's very fascinating to me.
I have a
Which the ears
theory about
are
that.
Oh, go ahead, share.
I do. I don't want to share it online.
Okay.
I will share it with you privately
Sounds good.
because it's just my theory, but
Okay.
I feel a lot of people's ears and they're
Yeah.
like, "No, my ears are fine, but I have gut health issues."
Okay. Yeah. Well, and the ears are another reflex point. So like, or reflex chart essentially, like the ears each have a different
Mhm.
thing. I just did a master class on art. I'm gonna butcher this, but like articular therapy or whatever. And that's like the reflex
Yes.
points of the ears. And
Yes.
um it's very
You're right.
fascinating to me.
Hands, feet, ears. I
Yeah.
don't do people's ears, but
Yeah.
um I do, but you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So
Mhm.
very interesting. Um,
Yeah.
anything else that you want to share about any of the topics? Anything else? I have like two final questions. But want to give you opportunity.
I don't yeah, I can't think, but just like if I could give advice to anyone,
Yeah.
just try it. Just
Mm-hmm.
try it. Light therapy, I think my prices are very inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sessions for adults run from $25 to $35 a session.
Yeah.
I don't think, and I actually, that's way cheaper than most other people charge for it.
Yeah.
But I know our area, and I also want people to, if they could come twice a week. Typically, people come once a week for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then once we get them kind of feeling good, they'll do like every other week for maintenance, or they don't need to come back,
Yeah.
which it'd be great. Light
Right.
for them, light is always going to be beneficial, always.
Right.
But I like that some people need to come twice a week,
Right.
so to keep it affordable. And
Mm-hmm.
then same with reflexology. I've had people that um, I don't like my feet touched because my brothers used to torture me and hold me down and tickle me.
Uh-huh.
And but it's a different because
Yeah.
some people are like, I don't like my feet touched. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a different kind of
Yeah.
touch. It's not a
Yeah.
massage, although there are massage like techniques in there,
Right.
but it's just touching those all the
Right. All
specific
those points. Yeah.
reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and opening up that energy to that area.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
thank you.
Um, So you answered my final question, which was what was one tip you'd like to give those listening? So just try it. I love it. I love it. And that's what I encourage other people, like even for like my services, I'm like, just try it. Like if it doesn't
Mhm.
work, it was, and like you, I try to keep my stuff priced at a decent price because like I think it should be accessible to people. People can't heal when they don't feel that they can afford something, and that's not helpful for them. So if they can't afford the whole system, they can at least do sessions when they can.
Yeah.
And I think that that is, for me, that's what aligns with me. So I love that you keep your stuff affordable too. um so my other question is, what is your favorite connection in wellness, like how one thing affects the other?
You mean within what I do or with
Anything in
anything?
wellness.
I love that we can control so much ourselves, and if we're working on one specific area, say gut health, which is
Mhm.
complicated as can be, it can affect our brain, it can affect our hormones and how the body was made to work together.
Mhm.
Like, because it's so true. When your gut is out of whack, your immune system, your brain, your
Mhm.
hormones,
Yeah.
it's all crazy. And that people don't realize how much that affects their life
Yeah.
and their health, their emotions.
Mhm.
I mean, when I had my gut health like pretty good,
Yeah.
uh, I felt amazing, even up here, like mental
Right. Yeah.
clarity. I felt like
Mhm.
I was
You're like,
15 again. I My
right.
brain worked good,
Yeah. You're like,
Now
I'm
I'm like,
Superwoman. I can do anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I felt. I
Hmm.
really did feel like that.
Yeah.
And since then I've had, I had an appendix issue. So I was like
Right.
rounds of antibiotics and a bunch of stuff. But we can control so much
Hmm.
of, if you want to feel better, do
Hmm.
better,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's up
Yeah.
to
And
us really.
yeah, it really is. It is. And that's like the biggest thing that I work on in with my clients and stuff is like, you have to take that ownership. You have to do something. If
Mhm.
you go to the doctor, even if you go to a natural health practitioner or a functional medicine doctor, or to you, like there's other things in your life that you have control over that you can make such a big influence on, and like all of these other pieces are gonna help make that go faster typically. but it still comes back to you. Like, it still comes back to you, and what are you thinking? Because our thoughts affect our gut. If you're stressed all the
Yeah.
time, that's not going to help your gut health. And
Right.
so, like, and that's even a balance in itself, because if your gut health is good, then you're probably not going to feel stressed. But like,
Right.
getting to that place of balance and just continually like reworking the mind and working at things.
Hmm.
I love that.
And
I
I
love
think
that.
if I had, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
one habit that I've done in my life that made one of the biggest differences was gratitude.
Mm,
Because gratitude journaling, or even just in your mind,
yeah,
being grateful and thankful,
yeah,
and even taking something that's negative and changing it around to find the positive in it, because that will influence your mind, and then it just changes everything.
it does.
It really does.
It does. It
It's like the
literally just like flips your world upside down.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, for
I
sure.
I love that you brought that, because it's such an important piece, because if you're just negative all the time, and I just shared a reel about this, like the whole brain seeks for what you're telling it. So if you're
Hmm.
complaining about stuff, it's going to show you things to complain about. If you are continually saying, I am grateful for my toothbrush, I'm grateful
Hmm.
for the light, that I have light, I'm grateful for my home, even if you want something better, even if you want a bigger home or a better job or whatever, being grateful for what you have right now allows that energy to shift you, and then that's a whole other rabbit hole of vibration
Yeah.
and frequency
Yeah.
and attraction. But um yeah, I gratitude is such a key, and I love that you've kept that through the years.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's amazing.
I mean, I find myself sometimes
Oh,
not.
for
So
sure.
I have to get reminders. Okay,
Yeah.
bring it back.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want to share? Otherwise, you can share where people can find you, and then we'll make sure to put all the links in the notes and everything.
Okay, yeah. So I'm on Facebook. It's facebook.com/empowered UHWS. And that is my Instagram too. I don't post a ton on Instagram. I need to get um, better at it. I just have like a love-hate relationship with
I
social
do too.
media a little bit. So,
I do too.
um, and then if you want to come see me in person, you can get a hold of me through one of those, or email at empowereduhws@gmail.com. And just get a hold of me that way, and we can talk more, and possibly schedule an appointment, or
Yeah,
just talk more, whatever.
I know I love talking to people. It's always good to talk. Um, Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was great having you as a guest and reconnecting. For those of you listening, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Emily.